They were once one of the most lethal offenses in all of baseball, and then all of a sudden, they weren't. The Toronto Blue Jays entered this season with big-time playoff aspirations, but with every passing loss, their odds of making it to the dance grow increasingly smaller. Recent reports have come out detailing the Toronto Blue Jays' plans moving forward, and based on what's being revealed, it seems all but certain that the Toronto Blue Jays will become huge sellers at the deadline. The only question now is how big is this sell actually going to be for the Toronto Blue Jays? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. There have been some blockbuster trade reports getting leaked about the Toronto Blue Jays, and in this one, I want to break down and discuss all of this latest trade news. Make sure that you stick around till the end because the last one involves Vladdy going to a place that you do not want him to go. Before we get into it, I encourage you guys to hit the like and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy Blue Jays content and discussion so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, folks, let's get into it. So first things first, let's start with the most likely trades to take place for the Toronto Blue Jays this deadline. Recently, somebody asked Ben Nicholson-Smith who the Toronto Blue Jays would trade at the deadline, to which he replied, "If the Blue Jays are still 4 games under at the deadline, I'd expect Kikuchi and Garcia to be traded. Jansen could go, and perhaps Chad Green, Turner, and Kevin Kiermaier. Players with more control would be harder to obtain, especially Bo and Vlad, who both very likely stay in Toronto." Now, Kikuchi, Garcia, and Jansen all have one thing in common, and that's that they're going to become free agents at the end of this year. In fact, the Toronto Blue Jays have 6 current players who, unless extended, will not return to the team. Danny Jansen, Yusei Kikuchi, Jimmy Garcia, Justin Turner, Kevin Kiermaier, and Trevor Richards. At this point, considering where the Jays are at, I would tend to agree with at least the first part of Ben's tweet where he talks about those one-year rental guys. Obviously, some of them are going to be worth more than others, but if the team isn't going to be making this playoff push, then there really isn't any point to holding on to those guys. The one player on that list that I could see the Toronto Blue Jays being hesitant to trade away would be Danny Jansen, and honestly, that's just because of what he means to this organization. That being said, though, if somebody's offering up a haul to get him, then if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you need to listen. Next, let's talk about one of those guys who does have a bit more control. Chris Bassitt. Chris Bassitt has been having a very solid season and has another year of control after this one where he'll get paid $22 million. All that being considered, though, it hasn't stopped his name from repeatedly coming up in trade conversations. This trade proposal featuring the New York Mets' 10th and 23rd ranked prospect is just one of the latest articles highlighting Chris Bassitt and the possibility of him getting shipped off. And honestly, as the season ticks on, this starts to make a lot more sense to me. A month ago, I would have completely shut this down, but a top 10 prospect is nothing to scoff at, and the Toronto Blue Jays need to find a way to replenish their farm system. The Jays also have Ricky T waiting in the wings and Yariel Rodriguez wanting to become a starter, so they might feel like they have the flexibility to get away with a Chris Bassitt trade. After the one-year guys have been traded away, Chris Bassitt would be the next man up on the trade block for the Toronto Blue Jays. Finally, let's talk about Guerrero and address the recent reports about him being a perfect fit for the New York Yankees.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
It has been revealed that the Yankees could be targeting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to fix their current first base woes. Now, from a Yankee standpoint, this obviously makes sense, and we know that the Yankees are capable of anything, but from a Blue Jays perspective, this genuinely feels like a death sentence for Ross Atkins. Sure, if you could find a way to finagle some of the Yankees' top prospects for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., then it might make sense on paper, but from a team-player relationship, I just don't know if this one's possible. The Blue Jays have made Vladimir Guerrero Jr. their identity for years, so to trade him away to arguably their biggest rival would piss a lot of fans off. A Vladdy trade isn't completely off of the table for this deadline, but the one team that I don't think he's going to go to is the New York Yankees. But folks, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, go Jays go.